Hi, I'm Zakisha, and I'm here to release my testimony. And this is a testimony from a promise that the Lord had given me over the course of this year, since January. So I am a stander, and I've been separated from my spouse since September 2020. I began actively seeking guidance from the Lord around November 2020, and I was not led to stand for my husband initially until March 2021. And that was the exact same time that I actually heard the calm voice of the Lord during my prayer time at my previous home that I used to share with my husband and our children. So since then, I can honestly say that my life has been interesting. It has definitely changed. My relationship with the Lord has grown tremendously. So I'll get started on how I got to where I am today to release this word of my testimony. So I worked as a human resources coordinator for a government-funded program that was for early childhood education, and I worked there from 2020 to 2022 of this year, January, and I was laid off at the beginning of the year due to there just not being any money in our budget to completely support our staff and things of that sort. And that exact date was January 6th. And you'll see me look down because I do have notes in my Bible open. So January 6th, I was laid off. And at that time, my husband and I weren't in a great space. We weren't talking. The Lord had instructed me to pull myself away, to put my attention on Him and focus on Him. And this was right after Christmas. So, I'm thinking this would be the time where, I kind of get back into the groove of, normal life after the Christmas season of, doing everything that we have to for our families and stuff. So I was laid off on January 6th. On January 7th, the Lord instructed me to apply for a job. And He gave me a specific job to apply for. And while in prayer, I asked Him, how would I get through this? Like, what did He have planned for me? And He had instructed me that I did not need to contact my husband. I didn't need to contact my parents until He had, given me the instructions of what He wanted me to do. So, I followed His instructions, and they were to apply for the government funded program, the rent release program. No, not the rent relief program, and to contact social services for SNAP benefits, as well as for medical benefits. So I done those things, and he also told me to follow through with conducting my unemployment interview and filing for it. So after completing those steps that he gave me, those instructions, I then contacted my parents and let them know that I had been laid off. Now, if I had contacted them prior to doing all the things that the Lord had told me to do, then my parents would have just jumped in there and took over everything, all of my bills and stuff. And that's not what the Lord wanted for me right then. And he had even told me that during this time, I was not to depend on anyone but him. It was time that I increased my faith in him. It was time that I realized who he was in my life, and not to depend on my husband, not to depend on my parents, and to understand that God works, that God will do what he said that he would do. So I done that. I applied the following day for the specific job that he told me to. And throughout this process, I did get hired on to that job that he told me to apply to on February 21st. But during that time, from January 7th up until my final interview with that company was February the 10th, I believe. The Lord had me fasting, and I'm talking some serious fast for like over that month. And it consisted of changing my diet, which I've been a pescatarian since 2018, and he had me, I was eating raw vegetables, just a diet of lettuce, spinach, carrots, and things of that sort for like maybe over a 5-day period. Then it would change to, sorry, I got a notification. But then he would shift it and change to a smoothie diet for like 7 days or 10 days. And then, those were the ones that I completed during that time. And, my children were at school. I was at home, and I would go from room to room with my Bible and my notebook, and I just spent time with the Lord from the time I woke to the time I would go to sleep. He had me just one-on-one, just the two of us, and downloading, instructing me, and it definitely encouraged me to depend solely on him. And during that time, all of my bills were paid. My credit score never dropped. And that was one of the things that I had, questioned him about. I'm like, Lord, I've worked hard to get to where I am. And he told me not to worry about that, nothing would be affected, as far as like my credit and stuff like that. So, yes, I got hired on February 21st. The pay was not what I was used to making. However, the Lord told me to accept. He told me to accept the position, the offer, and everything. So I accepted that, and it was a decrease in pay it was a decrease by, I want to say close to like $4,000 a year. And I have 4 children. However, my oldest is 20 years old, and he too was going through some things at that time financially. And I have a set of triplets that are 16, but all three of them, you know, are in school, and all four of my children are with my husband. We have four children together, and they are the only four children that we have. So, you know, the Lord had pulled me away from him, and I was only dependent on the Lord. It was God getting me through. So, yeah, after accepting the job, you know, he basically gave me some information of what, you know, would take on, that would take place while I was there, and just gave me instructions to remain focused, to, you know, learn as much as I possibly could. And excuse me if you see a gnat or something flying. I had to have one of the windows open for a few days. My oldest son had tested positive, and he had been at home up until the day he tested, and I had the window open until he left to go. I opened it when he left to go to his friend's house, where him and all of his friends were positive for COVID. They tested positive for COVID. So trying to get the germs and stuff out while disinfecting as well. So, you know, if you see something, don't think I'm a nasty person and don't clean my house, but that's what it is. So back to what I was saying. Yes, so, excuse me. So, he had told me the things that I would be experiencing while there, and told me to remain focused, that I would receive a promotion. So I had been laid off, and I was a human resources coordinator. So at the company he had led me to, I went down, like it was a demotion. So I was a human resources assistant too. And so the pay wasn't what I was used to receiving. While on my previous job, I had received a $10,000 increase over a short period of time, you know, after being there. So, you know, I had to adjust. And, you know, when you accept your offer, you then have to report that information to social services and things of that sort. So, you know, even then the Lord was telling me, like, keep your focus on me. Like, I got you. I'm going to get you through this, but you have to focus on me. So, I followed those instructions. I done well at work, remained focused, and learned as much as I possibly could. They had let an employee go in May, and I then took over her role as well as mine, and then some additional duties. So the Lord had told me then to do that and continue to, you know, do well. It was very hard to juggle. There were days that I came home from work exhausted. My work schedule was from 8 to 5. I would come home at 5, go straight to my bedroom, lay down, would not even fall asleep, but I was just laying across the bed, just so out of it. And I was unable to just go into the routine of fixing dinner for my children. And I would get up like at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then proceed to try to fix dinner for them and do laundry. So it definitely took a lot out of me. Even then, I still stayed close to the Lord and followed his instructions. The employee that was let go, she had a negative spirit. There were tons of times when she would just nag and complain, and you have to be mindful of people that you allow around you that are in a negative mindset. That spirit that lingered to her had attached itself to me. I had then began complaining, not at work, but complaining throughout my day with conversations I would have with friends, even when I would talk to the Lord. And he would always redirect me and get my focus back on him. So then he pulled me in consecration in June. And during that time, he had me to limit conversations with my family and my friends. I did not get on social media, which he had pulled me away from social media way before then. But he would let me do posts for my children's birthday or something like that. But as far as being on there permanently, because the Lord instructed me to have my attention on him and only on him. And when you're on social media and trying to keep up with the rest of the world, it's distracting you from what he's trying to do. Your vision has to be on him. Your focus has to be on him. You can't look and see who got this or that and whose relationship is going well and whose is not. You can't focus on those things when he's working on you. So he pulled me in consecration to consecrate in June, and that was for 6 days. On the 7th day, I was able to reconnect with my family. I stayed in prayer, focused on all the things that he told me to do. After completing that, he had spoken to me that, that was it for my fast and the consecrations for a while, that, everything that he had needed me to do had been done, and right then I was just to wait and be patient and just expect some things to move. So during that time, after that, still working, still trying to juggle that huge workload, so to say, and staying close to him. At work, I would, put my AirPods in and focus listening to instrumentals, Christian instrumentals, or either gospel. On my lunch break, I'm outside in my car spending time with the Lord and things of that sort. And where I worked was a university it was a university that consisted of 10,000 employees, and it was a Christian university, so to say. But we all know that the term Christians gets turned upside down, and people put their own twist on that. So I continue to stay in, and do what he had led me to do. He led me to be with him during those lunch breaks, and and just spend time with him regardless of what things were around me, and what was happening around me. So in July, he had told me to type up a resignation letter, and I was confused because at that time, right before he had me type up the resignation letter, he had spoken to me that I was not to get comfortable at work. So my son's alarm thing is going off, so please ignore that. It'll stop shortly. And I think he has it in his laundry basket, and it's right there. So yes, he had told me not to get comfortable at work, and I did not. And that right there had resonated with my spirit that the Lord won't have me here long. And he had told me to write my resignation letter. And I asked him, what am I supposed to say in here? Like, I don't have a job. I haven't found anything. What do you want me to say? And he told me what he wanted me to say. So I had applied to this job, went through, had the third interview, and he had spoken to me and told me that that wasn't my job. But he told me that some specifics to that job that I would be receiving. So then, and that was a job that I went looking for. So he told me that, the job that he has for me, he'll send it. He'll be sending that job to me. I wouldn't have to go searching for it. So, okay, this is moving along. I'm becoming very hopeful. Like, that negativity is, slowly leaving because, I'm not crazy. God is not, He's not going to keep me where he has me, that there's something for me. He has some plans for me. So I go on, I did type up the resignation letter and put the reason in there that he told me, and I kept it in my phone. I had it in my notes. So went on, before going on vacation, my husband's grandfather passed away, and we're still in June. And the Lord told me to, he told me to reach out to him and, just send my condolences to him. And he told me to attend the funeral. So, I done exactly what he told me. I attended the funeral as well. And it was during that time that he told me to pay attention to some things that were going on with my husband. Now, not to involve myself in it, but he told me to pay attention. So I did note the things that, that he brought to my attention while at the service and during that time. And the Lord had been weighing in heavy, telling me that, to expect the unexpected, and, that, we will be receiving Christmas in July. Now, I'm a huge Hallmark fan, huge Christmas fan, so Christmas in July is something that I make sure that I sit in front of my television, I record. If I could put a tree up in July, I would, without hearing any stuff from my family, and decorate and stuff in July. But so I'm like, okay, again, he's not giving me full details, but he's just telling me to expect the unexpected. And then he had mentioned presents and surprises. So During the time that, there was the preparation period for my husband's grandfather's funeral, my parents called us and called me and my children and told us that they had paid for a vacation for us in July. A vacation for us in July. So they had already booked the resort, and they'd done the reservations, sent the confirmation page and everything to us, and all I had to do was take off from work and make sure that we got there and stuff. So we go into July, and we're in July, and I'm at work, and my supervisor asks us if we could schedule a meeting. So we have this meeting, and she presents to me an employee evaluation, and she told me that, she appreciated all that I was doing, and that after, review and consideration, she was increasing my pay to $1.50 an hour. I went down to hourly where I used to be salary at my previous job, and it would be a $3,000 pay increase. Yes, a $3,000 pay increase, but it wouldn't be effective until the following pay period, which would have brought me to after I returned from vacation. So my vacation was scheduled for July 22nd to July 27th. So it's like I didn't want to appear to her ungrateful or anything, but it's like I knew that this wasn't something that God had for me permanently. So, I told her thank you, and, I was just so honored, that they felt the way that they did, and, signed my employee evaluation, and that was it. I really didn't make a big deal about the pay increase. I mean, because when she told me, her face was just glowing, like, yeah, we're up in your pay and this and that. And I'm just looking at her like, okay, but I mean, God, and I'm thinking to myself, God has different plans for me and better plans, but I may not know exactly what they are, but I know that He has them. So was very grateful for that, and spoke to the Lord about that, and He just continued to tell me that this is not it for you. Just remain focused and expect the unexpected. So we went on vacation. Well, before leaving, I was surprised again. My parents had given us a gas card, and the gas card filled us up throughout this whole trip and things, and I did take all of this back to the Lord, and this was a part of our Christmas in July. So mind you, the Lord told me don't ask them for anything, but this was a part of the Christmas in July that He had just placed upon my parents to do for us. And He blessed them, and they blessed us. So they gave us a gas card, as well as spending money and everything. So while there, backtrack. So one of my boys plays football, and the football team was actually doing like they had started their actual practices before the season during that time, and we were just like, he may not be able to come. Well, called the coach, and the coach told us that he could attend vacation because they were counseling practice for that week, and that he would only need to be there the day that we returned from vacation to pick up his equipment, or no, to get his equipment measurements as well as his helmet and stuff. And they were having a parent meeting, so that was it. All worked out, which was even more confirmation. Not that I doubted the Lord, but it was even more confirmation that, this was our actual Christmas in July. So while on vacation, things just changed. Of course, I brought along all my, I think I brought three Bibles. I think I brought two. And that was my, what's the other one was like a journal Bible, and then my NLT one, but and my notebooks and stuff. So I spent plenty of time with the Lord. The kids were out and about. My parents, my mother took my children to a mall nearby, and she purchased some of their back to school clothes, shoes. So yeah, we definitely had our Christmas in July, just as the Lord said that we would. So while there, he led me to get on YouTube and start releasing his words. While there, he also gave me a word about the prodigal's return. Prior to releasing that word, he had led me to study the prodigal son, the parable of the prodigal son, which I had read it before, but he had me then studying that. So yes, it was beautiful. The Lord, he definitely worked on me while there, and I felt as though when I left there, I went there one way and left a completely different way, so to speak. So, returned back home, and I have to go back to work. And what I had coming up in August and September were blackout periods where we couldn't take any time off from work, nor could we take any off November through December, meaning the holidays that fell in September, which is Labor Day, I would get that day. November, we got our Thanksgiving holidays, but December, the day after Christmas falls on a Sunday this year. The day after Christmas, I would have to return back to work. I wouldn't get either the day before Christmas Eve, that Friday. So, that's what I had to look forward to returning to, because the Lord never told me when he would be moving me out of that job. So we returned back home, and I knew that I had to train a new employee on August 1st. So I get back to work, and the university is all paper. The HR department is paper, like they're all paper. So that's part of the blackout. That's the reason for the blackout periods. January 23, the university is going live with the electronic human resource information system. So it will eliminate part of the paper processes once they integrate everything into the new system. Well, return back to work. My supervisor had assured me while I was on vacation that, she would have two other people that were previously in my role covering my load of paperwork, and I processed as well the whole university's hiring process. I'd done that process. And it started from the initial part of them coming to Human Resources, the department sending their information to Human Resources, to me sending them, approving their salary, and sending their welcome email. So I covered that for 10,000 employees, a whole university. And she had 2 people as well as herself covering that for me, as well as the promotions. I approved the promotions for departments that they wanted to give their employees, any transfers, any merit increases. All of these things I took care of with little pay. But the Lord told me to be patient, to obtain all the information I needed to, stay focused, and continue to go forward. So, got back to work, and the paperwork was stacked to here. A lot of things weren't done the correct way. So that's what I walked back into. Of course, I was frustrated. There were many times I just felt as though, like, Lord, I mean, you know, you said you're going to move me out of this. What's going on? I'm coming back, and, you know, I've had this great time with you at the beach, great time with my family, and I'm walking back into this. Like, that's just so, it just really rubbed me in so many different wrong ways. Well, and then we go into August 1st, and there's a new employee that I am training that's joining my team. So, train her, and she started on the 1st. Well, within that week, I think it was the following day on the 2nd, I woke up for work that morning, and it's in between. It's that state when you're waking up and you're halfway asleep and you're halfway not. And the Holy Spirit downloads into me during that time. It could be a song, scriptures, just a warning, or just words. Like, He uses that time. The Lord uses that time to speak to me as well, before my focus goes to anything else. So on the 2nd, that's when I heard the Holy Spirit say that I wouldn't be at my job much longer. So, of course, I know when I'm hearing from the Holy Spirit, I know all of that, and I can hear from the Lord just plain as day and very clear. Well, that right there just put something in me to where, you know, I walked into work and I'm training her, and I'm like, hey, I'm like, look, we have to, you know, get you squared away. I have to make sure that you know X, Y, and Z, you know. So I'm trying to prepare her. And even then, the Lord still did not have me apply for anything, because He told me He would send it to me. So, I want to say on the 8th, while in prayer, He had me, and I hope I have the date right, but, no, I'm sorry, it was the 11th, 8/11. So I'll read the notes from 8/11. And He told me, your cup is overpouring, and it's overflowing of blessings right here, and it's happening before you. He said, your blessings are here. Believe and know. He said, have faith, You'll get through. Faith over fears. You'll testify of the goodness. Don't worry, don't fear. I'm with you, and you're coming out. You're coming out strong and on top. Mark my word. Believe me. Now it's happening. Now. Continue to believe. It's now. Believe me. So then he gave me, during another session on the 11th, he gave me wind down. And then he says, time is winding down. I'm making moves. You will not be at your job much longer. I'm removing you from there. Your time is up. You'll see what doors I open for you. Big doors, many blessings. You'll share. Remember my words that I have spoken. You're like a planted tree. You'll flourish and prosper. Your season of dead and dry is over. I'm bringing you new. Your worrying and fear is over. I'm bringing you new beginnings. And at that time, he had me look up, and my clock in my car showed 3:33, and just had me write that. So that was on August the 11th. So okay, so that's what he gave me on August the 11th, and so that's on my lunch break. Going back into work, I'm just like overwhelmed, and just my joy level is like through the roof. And I'm like, yeah, she's like, well, could you help me do this? Sure, I can help you do anything. I can even put together a binder for you of all these processes to help you. I mean, I gave her all that I could possibly give her, support, everything. So on the 15th, we had another new person start. So, God had already set this up behind the scenes. You hear me? Where he had these people coming in, had them starting, and he was shifting things and moving things around so he could set up his plan, and poof, it could overpour and overflow. Yes, so on the 15th, we had a new person start, and I had to train her as well. So he had me reach out. Okay, before we get to the 15th, he had me reach out and link up with a lady that I previously worked with, and her name, I'm not gonna give you her name. However, he had me working with her on updating my resume. And I sat down on a Saturday, and we completed the interview process of just finding out, she needed to know what I've been doing over the last few years or whatever. So we set up that interview process the weekend before the 15th. So I think this was on, I think I sat and met with her the 13th. Yes, August 13th, her and I sat and talked, but I initially contacted her on August the 11th. So she had told me she would get back with me. She would have my updated version of my resume ready for me, probably Monday. She would have the draft ready for me on Monday. So I have this new person starting on Monday. God still hadn't sent me any jobs yet, but I knew it was coming. He had me preparing for all of this. He was prepping me, and I started my training with her on Monday. I received the draft of my resume on Monday. She had me review it. They were like, maybe, I think it was only one thing I needed to send back to her to have her correct and do edits on. Tuesday, she sent the final draft, as well as some tips for me to update my LinkedIn profile, so to say. I have to be careful with what I say because she went above and beyond for me. And yes, and there was no fee involved for some of it. But she had me update my LinkedIn information. I done that on Tuesday. And Tuesday I finished updating that, and I log off of LinkedIn and get back on there, and not searching for a job, but the first thing that pops up is a job, and one that the Lord led me to apply for, to send my resume. So mind you, he told me, I will send the job to you. So I sent the resume on Tuesday. Wednesday, I received an email from the recruiter of that job. And the recruiter is saying to me, hey, I loved your resume. Would love to schedule a time to interview you. What's your schedule for Thursday? So gave her my availability, and mind you, it's August. We're in this blackout period. I can't take any time off to come home. I didn't have enough time to come home and do the interview from my computer. So I went to my car on Thursday during my lunch, conducted the interview process. So throughout all of this, the Lord had already told me that he was sending me help. He told me this in July while on vacation, that he would be sending me help. Never told me like in what form would the help be in, but he was sending me help. So met with her, and had the interview, and her name was Mary. Well, is Mary. So all of this ties in together, because you have to laugh, because God, oh my goodness, you can't box him in. Yo, he is such a genius, and he just So an interview with Mary in my car, and she gave me the rundown, the whole spiel, and I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, when the Lord has asked me previously, what do you want? Of course I told him what I wanted, but I didn't give him all the details. However, he knew the desires of my heart, because he knows the desires of our hearts. So met with her, and she told me, she's like, you'll probably hear from me on Monday. So I'll, connect with you on Monday, and I'll let you know if we're going to move forward with a second interview. And I wrapped that up, but after I finished that interview with her, I'm still in my car, and I just automatically go into prayer and thanking him. And I said, God, is this the help? I asked him, I said, is this the help that you said you were sending me? And he told me yes. So I finished with that, broke down in my car crying, because I'm like, here it is. I'm just here training people at work. My focus has not been on, all of what he's told me. My focus has been on him. and doing the things that he told me to do, not as far as like, okay, you know, what the promises to look like and stuff. So I took my focus off of that. I had to get it off of that and just only focus on him. So she told me she would contact me on Monday. Sat in my car, I cried and done a video. Got myself together, done another video, and went back into work. So Friday, which was the 19th, and that was the day he had highlighted to me, and that was the day that something took place with my spouse. But I had to leave work that day on my lunch break and do something at home. So I'm headed back to work, and I keep my phone on silent and stuff. So I pull into the parking space. Well, I'm coming up the tunnel, and I swipe my phone up, and there's the lady Mary, missed calls from her. So I call her, and she's like, hey, you know, I told the two HR ladies about you, and they're eager to interview you. What's your availability for Monday? Now I'm thinking, wow, you know, she told me I wouldn't hear from her till Monday, and here it is Friday, the day after I just spoke to her. So, you know, I'm blown away. I'm like, okay, wow. So I am available Monday. You know, I scheduled another interview with them on my lunch. So, but this is what Mary also done. Mary told me, gave me information. She provided me with information about the two ladies that I would be interviewing with. She also gave me more information about the company and prepared me for the next interview, and told me that over the weekend I should study more so on the information that she had provided me with. So this was the weekend that I spent all this time with the Lord and had all these plans, you know, that I wanted to do. I was supposed to go to my sister-in-law's birthday dinner. I was supposed to do all these things. Well, the Lord told me, no, change your plans. You're focusing on me. So I in between those times with him, I was able to fit in a little bit of where I went online and looked up this company and stuff. So it's Monday, get to work, still training, and it's time for lunch. I go to my car. The parking lot is so full and packed because the students had just arrived back on campus. So finding parking was pretty hard. So where I'm parked at, the sun is beaming right there on my car. And I have my phone up in the little melt thing, and I have the dashboard kind of blocked off and the windshield so that the sun would not like get my phone too hot and overheat it. Well, the interview starts, and you know, we're just flowing. Everything is going well, and my phone shuts off. My phone shuts off. So automatically, you know, you think you're gonna panic. I did not. The Lord just instructed me right then. He told me what to do. Had my phone back on less than 2 minutes. My phone was back on. Get back onto the Teams meeting with the two ladies, and they're still there. They're like, oh, that's okay, you're fine. And I pick back up where I left off with the interview. So we wrapped that up, and they told me that they would be getting back with Mary, and that Mary would schedule the third interview with the CEO of the company. So they told me they would contact Mary on Tuesday, and she would get back with me to schedule another time. So Tuesday has went by. I didn't hear from Mary. Wednesday goes by. Don't hear from Mary. So then we're at Thursday, and one of the ladies that I was training needed some additional help that morning. So I go sit with her, and I'm trying to train her on these reimbursements that and moving stipends for like these professors. So as I'm going through her paperwork that morning, the two names continued to be in the stack of papers, which were Daniel and Danielle. We would finish a set of papers and we'd go to another set. There's Daniel and Danielle. So then while we're still working and I'm helping her, here comes my coworker Daniel out of nowhere talking to us about, I don't even think I got to even focus on what he was talking about, because the fact that it was consistent all morning long. Daniel, Danielle, and then here's Daniel. So already my spirit is telling me, the Lord is trying to reach you, so I'm like, I'm about to wrap this up with her because I got to go spend some time with the Lord. So Thursday morning also, my mother had knee surgery. So with the blackout period at work, I was unable to be there with her at the surgery center. So my father and I are texting each other back and forth. So I had already prayed on that months prior to her surgery. The Lord already told me he was bringing her out good. So my phone was still over at my desk area. And I'm right there with her. We go to another stack of papers. There are 7s all through this stack of papers. Every number that I'm calling off to her is associated with 7. I'm saying like 770 or 71, 7 something. So I had to pause for a minute and get myself together. And she was like, is everything okay? And I just had to let her know. I said, I believe the Lord is trying to get through right now. I said, I don't know if he's got a message for you or he has a message for me. I said, but he's clearly speaking that there's a victory somewhere that lies between you or I. And so she said, why did you say that? And I explained to her, what he gave me right then about the walls of Jericho. And how they went around, and on the 7th time, the walls came crumbling down with the loud shouts and stuff. So, I told her, I said, we're going to get through this paperwork, but the Lord is trying to talk to me or to you. So I went over to my desk, grabbed my phone, and I was trying to head back over to her. Well, when I got my phone, because mind you, I keep it on silent, there's my father who texted me, because that morning at 8:45, he messaged me after I spoke to my mother at 7 o'clock in the morning. She was prepping to go to the surgery center. My father texted me at 8:45 and said, hey, they're about to take her back. They're prepping her. At 10:45, he texted me and said, hey, she's headed to recovery. Surgery went well. Everything is beautiful. At 11:25-ish, he said, hey, we're getting her walker. She's about to head out, walk into the car now. Nobody but the Lord. Do you hear me? And the whole time this was, we were in preparation before her surgery. There were so many people that spoke negative and said, oh, she's going to have a hard time. She's going to have this. Honey, my God stepped in and showed out. My mother left out of there. When I tell you, her doctor told her that he never had a patient like that. The nurses told her that they never had a patient like that. To have a full knee replacement and get up, come out of recovery the way that she did, and walked out of there with her walker. When I called her, my mother was talking to me as if she hadn't even touched an ounce of pain. Do you hear me? So while my dad was still texting me and stuff, I had checked my notifications, when he had texted me about my mother. Mary had called me. Mary had FaceTimed me like twice. She had called me several times, just normal calls, regular calls. She had even texted me and told me she asked me to call her ASAP. So, and then she says, well, I have an offer for you. So I tell the lady I'm training, like, hey, I'll be right back. I gotta step outside. So I put my AirPod in and I'm heading out the door. I'm outside and she's like, Zakisha, she said they loved you so much on Monday. They loved you so much on Monday that they have an offer for you and you don't even have to meet the third interview with the CEO. So I'm like, wow. Wow. So I said, wow, I'm speechless. Like, I'm very speechless. And automatically, my heart is just pounding, and it goes right back to the Lord giving me after my first interview with Mary, Amos 9:13. He told me for a whole week, this is your Amos 9:13 moment to prepare for that. So, I told her, you know, it was just, I don't even remember all the words that came from me. So she told me the offer amount. The offer amount was a $7,000 increase from what I was making. A $7,000 increase. There's a 7 right there. She said also, they want you to start Monday. And I'm like, Monday? What about, you know, here I got to put in my 2 weeks notice, you know. They should want me to do that. Ooh, they should want me to do that. Put in my 2 weeks notice. So, I told her, I said, well, let me think about this and pray on it. I said, and I'll get back with you by 2:30 today. So I go back inside. I'm trying to get myself together. When I go back to train her, my mind is completely gone. I mean, gone. I'm focusing on everything but what this lady is talking about that I'm training. So I told her, I said, hey, I gotta go take my I said I have to take my lunch in a while or whatever. So, you know, right now you can try to do it on your own and I'll double check, you know, I'll check behind you to see if you, you know, completed it correctly. So I go back over to my desk and I just had to get myself together. And I'm just sitting there just like, Lord, wow. These are the words that you spoke to me. You told me that the time will come and things will be happening one after the other so fast my head will swim. You told me these things. So I go on lunch and I dive right on into him. I'm praying and I'm just waiting on that response. And the Lord told me, he brought me back to when he had me write that resignation letter. He said, this is the reason why. He said, your time has come. I'm calling you. I'm calling you higher. He told me to accept the position. He told me to accept the position. He told me to start on Monday. Okay? So I do that, and I called Mary back at 2:30, and I told her, I said, it's a go. I will be starting on Monday. So, so from there, she, you know, told me, okay, well, we're going to get your laptop sent out to you. You should expect it this day or that day. She also shared with me that she would be sending me the offer letter by the end of the day. So I go back inside, you know, trying to prepare how the Lord told me to do this next part of my resignation. So I planned to give the resignation letter on Thursday. So I text Mary at the end of the day, and it's like 4:50. I get off at 5, and I'm like, hey, haven't checked my email, haven't received my not my resignation, my offer letter yet, and just want to know would that could still come through this afternoon, this evening, or would it be in the morning? So I leave work and I'm talking to my oldest son on the phone, checking on him, and I'm headed to my mother's house. I'm en route to my mother's house and to check on her, and that's when Mary beeps in on my line. I tell my son that I'll call him back, and I answer the phone, and Mary's asking me, and you can just hear the excitement in her voice. And she's like, I hope you're sitting down. And I said, yes. I said, actually, I'm driving. I said, but do I need to park? Because I'm on the way to my parents' house. And she, my nose is so red. But she proceeds to tell me, well, I hadn't sent your offer letter yet because they changed your offer. They upped it by $10,000. They increased it. So that's 10 right there. Completion. So they upped it by $10,000, plus you'll receive a $5,000 bonus every year. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Do you see what the Lord done? What he did? Honey, he gave me that overflow that he mentioned to me. He blew my mind. He done all the things that he told me he was going to do on the 11th. On the 11th. I'm sorry for the page turning. He told me your time is up. You'll see what doors I open for you. Big doors, many blessings. You'll share. Remember my words that I have spoken. He told me time was winding down. An overflow of blessings right here before you. So, excuse me for now how I am, but when I received that phone call, and for the last 2 days after that, my eyes were completely puffy, and there weren't tears of sadness. Tears of pure joy, and just grateful, so grateful and honored that the Father, our Father, remembered his child, because he couldn't forget me. He told me he would never forget me. He would never leave me nor forsake me. And he came through, and he came through above and beyond. When I tell you he blew my mind, he blew it. Because these things happen within days. Within days. It was back to back. It happened that fast. That fast it happened. So I'm at my parents' house. My father comes out, and he's thinking like something that happened, because I'm holding my chest and just pouring down crying. Mary is still on the phone. She's still on the phone. And Mary spoke to me, and Mary said, I don't know what you've done. I don't know your personal life. She said, I don't know what you've done in your life. She said, I don't know the sacrifices you made, but I do know that the Lord is blessing you today. She said, God has opened up, and he's pouring out on you today. Yes, it's real. It happened. It's happening. I accept it. I signed my offer letter. Comes with even a greater PTO plan. It comes with way better benefits package. Comes with me being 100% fully remote at home. He gave me the desires of my heart. He gave me the desires of my heart, and more, and more, and more. He gave that to me because I didn't put my hands on it. I didn't try to do what he was planning to do, what he was that only he could do. I didn't try to do that. I allowed the Lord to lead me. I got out of his way. I got out of his way. I had to step out of his way. That's what I had to do, and I done it. It wasn't easy, but I knew that the words that he was speaking to me here and here were coming to pass, and I knew that it was real. And I knew that he told me during that break that weekend, last weekend, he told me what my assignment was. This is why he led me to where he has me going right now. He told me what my assignment was. I accepted my assignment. I accepted. I told him, Father, I'm in agreement with you. I want to be fully aligned with you. You know me better than I know myself. What's Jeremiah 29:11? He knows the plans. Do you hear me? I couldn't get in his way, and I didn't. So I accepted. I start Monday. My entire family overwhelmed. When I tell you the joy that has come into us, and it happened just like that. That's all it took. The Lord moved. He moved while I was doing what he told me to do. He was already in the background whipping it up. He done it. He sent the help that he told me was coming. He told me that these blessings were on the way. He told me. So, and I told myself, you're not going to cry on here like this little crybaby again. You know, say that for the Lord. Just give this testimony. So, but it has not been easy. I'm not going to tell you that. It's been hard, but it's been worth it. It's been worth it. Would I have chose another route? No, I would not have. Because another route would not have gotten me to where I am right now, where the Father has me. So I would not have. And today I have a 3:00 meeting about business. The Lord is moving fast, quickly in my life. Do you hear me? He is moving, and he is doing the same for you. He just wants to know that you have partnered with him and you have moved all of what you moved all your mess out the way, and you allowing him to flow and just go, because he is doing it and he will do it. So, part 2, the Lord had also spoken these other things to me that I will be receiving new. He told me that this month was the month of new beginnings, that I would be receiving new. So my kids and I were sitting down the other day discussing getting another vehicle. And, you know, I try to get their input because, I mean, this is something that we all have to be comfortable in. And, you know, they want mama riding in style when I come pick them up and some things. And, you know, so we have found 3 vehicles, but narrowed it down to 2. So my brother works at a dealership, and I sent the stuff to him. I sent the pictures and let him know, hey, this is what I want, and left it from there. Prayed to God before, you know, contacting him, and the Lord told me, it's yours. He said, if you want it, it's yours. He asked me, which one do you want? Told me it was mine. So Saturday morning, I got up, talked to my brother. Yesterday, talked to him, and he said, hey, I'm going to, the dealership that he works for, they have several throughout our area. So he said, well, it's at this location, but I'm headed now to go pick it up and bring it back. And he said, go ahead and clean your car out. He had completed my paperwork and everything. Didn't have to spend no time in the dealership. Only thing I had to do is show up, test drive the car. Me and the boys went out, test drove it, done everything that we needed to do. Excuse me, and the Lord just basically told me, this is it, this is yours. Even more so, I ain't even have to put down a down payment. A down payment. This is a newer vehicle than what I had. My previous vehicle I got in 2020. My husband got that for me. It was a 2017. Got this vehicle that is now a 2020. Beautiful, beautiful SUV. Platinum SUV. No money down. Nothing down. When I tell you he's moving and he's working and he is able, pay attention to him. Pay attention. I think one of my kids is trying to come in, but pay attention. So I'm gonna leave this right here so I can tend to them, but just let you know that he's doing it and he's done it. The Lord is real. And you will be hearing from me again. This is my testimony. I'm overjoyed over just the top. Thank you, Father, for doing this for me. And I hope that this touches someone. I have some words to release, but have a happy Sunday. Bye.